So let's take a closer look at the Defroster Road boot. The first thing you'll notice is that it is a boot and not a shoe, and that's because we've got this neoprene collar here, which is in two parts, designed to wrap around the ankle and create a seal, together with this overflap here around the toes. Speaking of seals, we have some taped seams on the inside of the boot that you should be able to see there, again designed to stop the water from coming in. We've got some thinsulate material built into the construction of the boot, and that's designed to keep your feet really warm. We've got a boa dial closing system here, which makes it quite tight and secure around the foot. You'll notice that the toe area here is a little bit wider, and that's if you're wearing winter socks, you don't get that tight feeling inside the boot. We've got a conventional 3-bolt cleat system here. I've got Look Keo cleats fitted today, and the final point is there's lots of high-vis detailing as well. So all of this material here on the side and on the back, if car headlights shine onto those, it really lights up to help you to be seen. So today is a pretty cold January day. It's about 0 degrees, but there's a really strong northeasterly wind, which is making it really cold. And as you'll probably see on my Garmin, it's down to -2 there. If you look on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Normally, this time of year in the past, I've always ridden like a pair of summer shoes, 2 pair of socks, and a pair of neoprene overshoes as well, and my feet always get bitter cold. So right now I'm wearing winter gloves, of course, and my fingers are pretty numb, but my feet are pretty toasty. So we're about an hour and 45 minutes into the training ride today, but my feet inside the boots just starting to get cold. I was cycling back into a headwind again a short time ago, and the wind really cooled my feet down. It got to about -2.5, and yeah, it got my toes pretty cold then, but so far today they've been pretty good. Very wet conditions on today's ride. You can probably see from behind me that the weather is not so great, very misty, raining fairly heavily and fairly consistently. It's about 5.5 degrees, so not particularly warm, and the boots are performing really well. This is one of the first times I've actually ridden them in significant rain, and my feet are warm and they're dry as well. So just back from a Sunday club ride, and it's pretty cold, pretty wet today, and actually my feet got pretty wet as well. So here's the issue. Down inside the boot here, there's a neoprene collar, but water actually goes down into the boot in there and makes your feet wet. And then when you've got the cold air hitting the boot as well, and your feet are wet, makes your feet pretty cold. And the fit is good. I'm a size 8 or a 42, and these run up to the perfect size as well. Sometimes I've bought 43 size shoes for a 42 size foot, and these are absolutely spot on. They fit really well. There's a rub mark here from my boot on the crank, and it started to rub away the lacquer on top of the carbon itself. That's because the wider boot here means that you can wear thicker socks, but it also means that the boot here, you see the material has been rubbing up against the crank, and it started to rub. Hasn't rubbed through or anything, but I don't know what that would do over a long time. This is about the 6th or 7th time I've worn the boot. If I move the cleat that way, it's going to put my foot off of where it needs to be, and the cleat is set up perfectly to match my summer shoes. So that's one of the negative things about having the wider boot. So let's conclude the review of the Specialized Defroster Road. It's a great boot. Generally, my feet have been pretty warm in it until it gets really cold. So down to about 1 or 2 degrees, my feet stay warm. after that they do start to get cold, so you maybe want to double up on socks in really, really cold conditions. Do they keep your feet dry? Well, at first I thought yes, when I rode in some wet conditions, and then when you really ride in very wet conditions, like a real downpour, you will find that water gets down in between the neoprene and gets into the boot. In saying that, actually the water kind of gets warm inside a little bit as well, but it is just something to look out for. I think they're great winter boots actually, and they've done exactly the job I wanted them to do for the winter. So overall, I'd say I would recommend them.